estate have you had? And then we can just go down the panel from there.
So my name is Jenny Olson-Paden. I've been in real estate since 2012 as an admin and got my license at the beginning of 13.
I'm Donna Stewart, and I have been here for 5 years. And I just, a year ago actually, joined Tiffany's team.
I'm Tiffany.
This is Tiffany. Am I slipping you? No, I just was like, sorry about that.
I'm Victoria. I got my license in 2016, but really am just 1 year in real estate full time, a little over a year. But my prior life was marketing, and so that's me.
She's being very modest.
She's
but
very modest.
She won national awards for her marketing. So when we're talking marketing, we're talking like that. So I'll just tell them since you won.
And I'm Tiffany, and I got my license in 2010.
That's it, Tiffany?
That's all. No, I can keep. You want me to teach the whole class? I can keep talking. You just said how long we've been in. I've been doing this since 2010. So.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to give them a couple of questions just to kind of get them started, and then we're going to open it up to any questions that you guys may have. So panel, anyone who wants to answer, why do you do Popeyes?
Keep yourself connected with your clients.
What does that mean?
That means you want them to remember you tomorrow when they run into someone who is looking for a house or wants to sell a house. You want to be top of their list. To do that, you keep calling them and talking to them.
And I think it opens dialogue too, because before when we were doing Popeyes, we would actually be able to sit and talk to people and everything like that. Now it's just more of COVID drive-bys, but you would actually, as we were there, a lot of times be like, oh, I was talking to my niece the other day and she's ready to buy or sell, and so we get that information that was right there. So it was very helpful.
So, and I will say yes to all of that, but really deep down, you do Popeyes, and it's got to be tied in with your overall brand. And that's not high level for anybody, but it doesn't have to be fancy, go out and hire somebody, but Popeyes continue to be your Oscar, your Emmy, and speak that language to your people so that pretty soon you don't even have to say, oh, I'm Donna with Keller Williams, or Tiffany with, are you on it? Tiffany with Keller Williams. Okay. Or any of that. Midwest heritage. You don't have to say that. We're 2412 home team. We don't have to say that, because everything from what you put, so they're going to show you all these cool things. I'm going to try to give you some meat and potatoes of how to improve your brand or make your brand. If you haven't even started thinking about it, I have even a worksheet here if anybody wants it, that to start thinking about that, because everything you do, the tone of what you say, how you present, what you do has to be part of a bigger plan. One Popeye is not going to do you any good, and the Popeye itself is not going to do you any good. So if you have questions about that, I would love to help you answer any of those questions, but you've got to have it be a part of a bigger plan. It just has to be there.
So I do Popeyes because I think it's a great way for those in the beginning. There were so many people that I had that I met, and some of them I could tell it was not a good mix. It wasn't good chemistry. I was frustrated a lot. But the people that I end up now that are on after years of doing this, I have my primary people. Those are the people I love. They love me. Their friends are very similar to them. So I want their friends' business. I don't want any more train wrecks. I just don't. And all of my marketing.
Referring train wrecks.
What's that?
What about referring train wrecks to friends?
I refer them out to anybody that wants them.
Yeah, thanks, Tiffany.
Oh, like to Jenny.
Send them to Jenny.
That was a train wreck.
Didn't get a Popeye from me that year.
But through this, when I started, my family was in real estate, so there wasn't that family I could fall back on. I was trying to figure out, where do I get this business? What do I do? How do I And I kind of stumbled upon the Popeyes, and I got really good feedback from my people. And so the more positive reinforcements you get, the more you keep doing those things. So what I ended up, and I didn't realize what was happening, is I was building a big family of people. And so I will personally, I don't brand anything that I give. I want it to be usable. I don't want it to be in the trash. I don't want it to be marketing material. Everybody has their own opinion. Nothing I have has Dow Real Estate Group on it. Nothing I do. I also make sure that when I put tags, and again, everyone has their own theory on this. It doesn't say you're the best client. I love your referrals. It says, I'm so lucky to have you. It's St. Patrick's Day. It's lucky to have you as my friend, because they all think they're my friends and they all think they're my family. And if I put something on referrals or even imply that they were business partners of mine, I think it would hurt their feelings. So I have all my people are going out and referring me for me, and I just love them. So I love to pop by and give them little things, and they always are happy to see me. My own family isn't happy to see me, so they are. So they get presents. But anyhow, that's why I do Popeyes.
Awesome. So let me ask you this question. You brought up a good point of whether or not you brand it. So Victoria was saying branding is the key, right? To
And
get yourself in front.
branding's not necessarily a logo, whether she realizes it or not. She
Oh,
is branding.
I am branding.
She is
I
totally
am.
branding. And she's always communicating.
Yep.
And that's what branding is. And you need to be consistent in that. And she is.
Yes.
Look
Yep.
at it. She's very consistent in that. And people, they look at it. They don't even probably have to read anything. They know, oh, Tiffany was here. And they know she's a real estate agent. Whether she says it or not, they know she is. That's why they're giving her referrals. And that's what you have. That's why it's very important you understand why you're doing it. And what you're
Absolutely.
doing.
It is branded. It's just not branded with a name.
Right.
It's branded with my style.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So talk to your CPA about whether or not those would be eligible for expenses. So okay, so take that. Now, one of the things that you all said was keeping yourself in front of those persons that know and love you in your database. So how often do you do Popeyes?
So we do it kind of depends. We have a couple lists. We actually have two lists. We have one that is 150 of our closest people. There are people we work with that know, like, and trust us, that we know will win for us business. Then we also work a certain farm, and then we have 50 on that farm that we do Popeyes with. With the 150, we try to do quarterly, and then with the 50, it really ends up being more like 5 or 6 times a year.
Donna?
Mine's kind of like hers. I all except this year. I really didn't do all of this, and I'm sure I'm going to pay for it next year because I didn't do all of this. But one of the things I don't do that I didn't kind of stress before is when I go on a Popeye, I never ask for business. I never ask for a referral. I don't. I'm there to visit or say hi or whatever, or thank them for something they've done. Don't make it a business thing. I make it a, like Tiffany says, a friend thing.
Can we ask questions?
Certainly.
Except for you guys are much.
But you
more.
just raise your hand.
Please
Don't
do
that,
that.
man.
We need hands.
Raise your hand and we'll say,
And I'm sure we'll probably get to this, but hearing you guys talk about, especially you being so personal with all of your gifts and you having 150 at one time, do you guys plan? Like, do you want to talk to your people? When
no, not always. Honestly, not all. It depends, but not always. Sometimes I hope they're not there.
Yeah, no, and for what we've done so far too, like we don't. It's just to drop it off and go, just because I can't imagine they're out of time.
Right.
Okay.
We do. What I end up doing, because again, I adore my mother, but planning is more of my thing. I will actually map it out, get in the car, and drive her, so that I'm literally like, here you go, now go to that door, and then that way she'll ring the doorbell if they're there, great. If not, we'll drop it off. So, and Donna knows my mom well, so
I like having a partner. I never thought about that.
yeah, it works really well.
Because you can keep track of things.
Yeah, and then I just check it off, and then she, I moved the car when she's in there for 40 minutes, and after the lessons,
Sorry,
she
hang on, start talking. No.
Don't forget, if you have little people,
Little people are great too. We've done
they're
that too.
great. Because they're all enthusiastic about jumping out of the car
And giving somebody a present.
The only thing you have to be careful is that nowadays nobody goes to their front door. So I'm
Yeah.
always debating on where do I put it. Do I put it in the garage where they'll see it? I'm trying to arrange it where they will see it so that.
And you can snap pictures, and we've done it in the past.
Yeah,
where we
I think
snap
it's a great
pictures of it.
idea.
And generally I'll get a text message, oh my gosh, I got your da-da-da, thank you so much. And that's mission accomplished.
So that's what I was going to bring up for you guys too, is that, when because Jenny was talking about COVID drive-bys, like you have the impression of like the mail guy just throwing out of the window. But if they're there or not, it doesn't matter because you're just going and dropping it off. I snap a picture of their front porch where it's at, on their door or whatever it is, and then I text it to them. So they may be home. But I'm already gone.
You don't ring the doorbell.
Because I'm only on a short time frame, right? And so we can talk in the car until I get to the next place, and that still gives me that opportunity to connect.
And I'll tell you that, so I probably, we combine, we do mailings, and those are large scale. We do 5 of those a year, probably 500 mail outs. We do, and we always have a call to action, but it's not blatant call to action. But on Popeyes, we do it to our VIPs. So there's probably 30 on our list right now, and that continues to grow. I don't care if I see them at the Popeye, but have an objection, have a purpose, have a call to action. So we always put something on there. We tie it into a theme and say, hey, let us know. We did a little 4th of July. We wanted pictures. Our goal was to get 100% of the people that we dropped something off to at least reach out to us. And we did take pictures, said, hey, we dropped this off. Have a great 4th of July. And we asked them, make sure to send us pictures. It wasn't crazy, hit you in the face sales, but it was, we wanted them to call us. We wanted a conversation. And we got 100% conversations of people. And in that conversation, they always say, how's business? We don't have to bring it up. And then we can talk about it. And then we can ask for the referral. And I would say be purposeful in that process. You don't have to be crazy. Like, I don't want to be that salesperson, but you still have to be purposeful in what you're doing.
And I think that's the most important.
Somebody's bag is
Is making it purposeful and making it consistent.
Yes.
It's not going to matter if you do it once a year. It is going to matter if you do it 4 to 5 times a year.
So back to the question so that Tiffany can answer. How many times do you do it?
Completely different. I try to always do Christmas. We do birthdays. I always mail birthdays to every person. I remember one year when my kids were small, the only card I got was from my insurance agent, and I was really happy that I got a card from somebody.
I would have sent you a card.
I know, that was the deal. And I was like, so I do a $10 scratcher because the odds are better to win, and I cannot tell you how many people are texting me like, oh my God, I just won $100. I'm like, oh my God, you're so buying another house. Or they'll put on my Facebook, they'll be like, I won 14, and most people go, what did they win $14 for? But anyway, that's just what I do. Every year it goes out, and I try to hit a couple honestly, I don't do as many as I should do. I'll find myself, we're definitely doing 4th of July. I got 5 transactions and I can't do one thing. But I do try to for sure do Christmas. I definitely do birthdays. I try to do, my goal is to do 3 other times a year.
There was a question back there.
Tegan, did you have a question?
I was just trying to clarify. So, you had said you have that 50 farming list. Does that rotate out? Or?
No. So the farming is pretty much who we work Lottawanna, and then we have 50 people there that are either, we call them influencers, or they're people that know, like us. And so they are pretty much stationary. Once a year, Mom and I'll sit down and actually kick people off our list or add people, depending on who we've done business with that year.
Okay.
So, yeah. And we get real specific. We meet at the beginning of the year and do a whole big purging and make sure that we're very, very logical about who we spend time with.
Okay.
Do you ever just do this in like random neighborhoods, like not just your like people that you already know, but like different people?
But you need to go multiple times to that same neighborhood before they're gonna go, oh, that's that one girl. I remember when I was a stay-at-home mom, and we had this one agent, and after a while I was like, oh, she's sending us those Hy-Vee coupons again, and I would kind of expect them, because she came multiple times. I would say, looking back, I wasn't in real estate at all, but I would bet she would come every 6 to 8 weeks. She would drop something off on our door. It wouldn't knock, just be like a hanger with Hy-Vee coupons or local things like that.
So I mean, do you recommend that to get like?
You have to do it repetitively.
I have a calendar that I put out for us, and I would say this is our second. We're 2.5 years of consistently doing the same thing. Whatever you do, you have to do it consistently. And last year we began to see results from it. This year, people are excited about, there's an anticipation, and there's different areas that we've added in. Not for the Popeyes. We don't do that for the Popeyes, but we will work into figuring out who those people are, whether there's somebody we actually work with, or whether it's somebody who just says, hey, call this agent, or so and so.
So, and you want to break into Lottawanna too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So your parents live there? Okay. So what I would recommend is I talk to your parents, see about who their good friends are in the neighborhood. Go and do a
Well,
Popeye.
I
You know that, yeah.
so many people there. But
Yeah.
I mean, do you just what I'm saying is, do you just reach out to the people that you know there?
For the most part,
do you reach out to the whole neighborhood?
my mom will do walks, like in Lottawanna. She'll actually walk the blocks, and then she'll just introduce herself and then give them a little something every once in a while. She's not done that in a while, just because it's so time consuming. But starting out, I don't know what the other ladies would suggest, but if you want to farm a certain area and once a quarter, just go ahead and do that. I think there's nothing wrong with it. I'd probably cap it at 10 or 15 so that you know that you can be consistent with them, maybe 25. And then just give them even a little bag of candy or something like that would be great.
And there's a difference between farming and Popeyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and
So-
I guess that kind of confuses me.
Yeah,
So
and we can-
Popeyes just mostly people that you know then? Okay.
That's why when we're farming, we start with the mailer, and we don't just do a mailer. They get them multiple times a year, but we also layer it. So whatever we've done on there, we duplicate it somehow. And again, we're a soft sell group. We're not always asking for business. We're sharing stories. We're talking about the community. But we do it socially. We mirror something. We don't necessarily match it exactly, but we mirror it. And then we potentially would find something that ties into that theme, just so there's hit. You have to hit 3 times or more for farming before they even kind of go, oh, there's that girl again. Why does she keep sending me something? And don't get discouraged if you don't get any results from it right at first. Just be consistent. Be consistent.
So let's talk about cost. So outside of farming, because farming can be expensive to do, so keep that in mind. So we can talk about farming on another timeline, but we want to stay on Popeyes. And on the Popeyes, I wanted to find out, how much do you guys invest in Popeyes, and does that cost depend on what time of year it is, or if there's a certain event that's going on?
So I would say we try to keep all of our Popeyes around $5, with the exception of we do a reverse Popeye for Thanksgiving where we do a pie. So we get pies, we slap our sticker on them, and then they come to the office to pick them up. So it's a reverse. They come to us as opposed. And then we hand deliver some of them. But everything else we try to keep under $5. And then it kind of depends. I mean, we do try to make sure it's part of the season, like. I think we'll do like an apple and caramel, and then we try to do that fall. We did some lakeside, like summer lakeside. It was Bath and Body Works soap. That was when we delivered it, like Lottawanna, in the summer. So we definitely try to theme it with the time of year.
Any other ideas? How much do you, Tiffany?
Between 5 and 10, just depends on what it is. 7 seems to be like it always ends up being around $7, $8 is what I do.
That's because hers have to be color coordinated.
Well, and we'll talk about specifics here in 1 second because I know that there are some zhish that goes along with that,
Yes.
right? Right. So Donna, what about you? How much do you spend for your
5 to 10.
Popeyes per?
Depending, I used to do the pie thing, so I probably not gonna do that this year because we're doing something else. But so I did that consistently for I hand delivered mine because I didn't have gobs of people. Now it would be take me a few days to get those pies out. It's getting a little more people now, but so the pies, what 7, 5, 7?
I think they're like
$6.99 now at
Yeah.
Costco.
Something
Then
like
they're
that.
talking about
Yeah.
Costco
Yeah.
pies.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
And you gotta order now, just so you know,
Yes, you do.
because Costco used to. Now all the real estate agents are onto it,
Yeah.
and you'll go pick up. Like so and so's picking up 200 pies or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Oh, are you
Crazy.
kidding? I had somebody picking up 1,000 last time I went.
Yep.
I'm like, are
Yep.
you kidding me?
Oh.
I've got 1,000 pies. I can't even imagine. So yeah, but between $5 and $10, most of the time, yeah, between 5 and 10.
Victoria?
Ours are, I mean, we probably have one, and it depends on who we're targeting. If we're doing the VIP, we're not doing as many, and we would maybe go a little higher, 10 to 15. But other than that, we keep them 5 or under, and you can do it 5 or under.
Mm-hmm.
We give things that are cool that they always appreciate. Last year, we didn't do pies. We did recipes, and then added a couple more recipe cards in there. Have a great Thanksgiving. Thank you. Those are inexpensive and really easy to do, and you don't have to go out and buy fancy ones. You can easily create them, and they love that. And because they don't care what you're giving them, they care that you thought of them.
So don't forget too, guys, that you can be frugal and still friendly with your people. So the Dollar Tree, which is one of my favorite places, right, allows you to buy in bulk by the case, and then you can just go online, order it, and pick it up. So then that way you have your things right there. When you watch a TV or something, you're putting something together, and then you have a couple. If you're in an area, I may be showing a house, and I have something in the car. I pass by one of my clients' house. Perfect time to do a quick pop by before we get to the next one because I got room in the schedule between houses. And so you may want to think of those kinds of things. One of the other things you may want to think of, and I'm sure the panel has some great ideas for this, is when you are putting together your buyer presentation, when you're talking to them, ask them things like, what are your favorite movies? What is your favorite candy? What is your, whatever that case may be. It gives you ideas of what kinds of things that they may like in a personalized pop by.
And then use the custom field and command to put those in so that you can always have
Or
them in
can
the
I use
database.
my clipboard?
No, we're trying to get you like a clipboard.
She has Cheyenne.
Cheyenne.
Yes,
I'm gonna give you guys a suggestion of something that ties back into their area. So I don't know if your people are spread far out or if it's just the greater Kansas City area, but we did something and it was really well received. And we had specific vendors, restaurants specifically, and when it was COVID and a lot of them were struggling, we called them and said, hey, can I buy $50 credit? You double it, and I'm going to divide that up by what's something on your menu. Some of them it was a cup of coffee. It was a coffee house, so we were able to give out more of those. Some of them it was an appetizer, so we gave out fewer. But that's what we did. We said we're invested in our clients, we're invested in our community. Go check it out. It was free to the end user. It helped the restaurants here, and people felt like they were getting a gift that we really didn't spend a lot of money. We were just creative in coming up with that and came up with a piece that we printed out ourselves. I used to work with Fortune 500 companies. I'm not that person, so I don't have a budget. I'm learning. I'm making my budget, but you can do creative things like that, and you love it. at Christmas time this year, we're giving out labels. Everybody make wraps. I don't care what you celebrate. Christmas, Hanukkah. I don't know all the different celebrations, but you can do a Christmas label, just a sheet of them. They're dirt cheap. You can even mail some of them besides giving them, in person. But just that, if you give it to them, that's something they can use. And then for the VIPs, we're actually doing gift wrap kits that are going to be nicer. We're not giving those to everybody. We're being very frugal. We're frugal, but it works because they just like that you thought of them, and that's what Popeyes. I would say, for me, Popeyes will never be for the masses. That's just me personally. It will always be for the people that either I know are loyal VIPs. That means I know they're referring me out to other people, or they're a prospect that I know within some time in the next 5 years, they very likely will be moving. They're going to downsize. They're going to upsize. They're going to do something, and I want them to think of me first. But I know they know them. So be frugal even in making your list, because Popeyes are not for the masses, in my opinion. That's not how I use it personally.
Right. We don't do, and we add something. We do something called influencers, in which it's usually only about 5 of our group. They're people that we would like to work with. They're people that know people that are good people, and then we do include them in our Popeyes. A lot of times they're just influencers on the lake, or some of the communities we work with seniors. We bring them something and just kind of add them to it. So we don't do it definitely in mass, but we do kind of keep the end game in mind.
Okay. So was there a question over here? No? Okay. So what about when you are going to prepare, how long does it take you to prepare for your Popeyes? How much planning are you putting forth in the actual working time for your Popeyes?
So I usually, at the beginning of the year or the end of the previous year, Mom and I sit down and I plan it all out and then run it by her, and we kind of go back and forth. And a lot of times we'll buy for the entire year and just put them together when it's maybe a little slower, or I have a brain dead moment and just want to do something with my hands. The last pot buy, I want to say it probably took me 4 or 5 hours to put together. So it's kind of nice, had a horror movie on and just use my hands. So.
Timing?
Oh Lord, it could take me it would take me 3 days. And I get it, but I have a disorder. And so I made homemade sugar cookies, and they all had to be different. And then I did trays upon, and then I had to do handwritten cards that all had glitter paper. I tried not to do that anymore. And then I have to wrap it perfect, and then I have to do a whole bunch of, and then I have to do zigzag scissors. But I have been known to do that. I'm pretty sure that's why I sold an extra house. Not. Now I'm like, okay, let's go do this. Is a good deal. That's a good deal. And now I spend probably maybe 2 or 3 hours throwing them together. But when I'm out and about around town, I was at TJ, and I'm still mad about it. I was at TJ Maxx right after COVID. Everything opened back up, and they had Easter towels for 90% off. And I was not in the mood to deal with it. They were like, I bought one for, I think it was like 80 cents or something. And I'm like, why the heck? I'm still mad about it. Did I not just go grab a whole stack? And then have it, because I like to do, like, this one is found a lady, and she does a home dish towel. So people will use it. It's just, the state of Missouri with the heart. And they use it, they'll take a picture after they close, and then they'll send me the photo. So every time they're using it, because it's cute, again, it's usable. They're subconsciously, every time they see it, they're remembering, oh, we bought the house, and they're remembering the whole experience. Hopefully it's a good experience that they're remembering. But same thing, I pick up things as I go when I see a really good deal, and I tell the girls, I'm like, you guys keep an eye out. Cheyenne bought some really cute Cheers bags after Christmas for wine bottles. They say Cheers, and they were, what were they, like $1 or something? Yeah.
After Christmas list.
Yep. Just keep your eyes out now for those after clearance. Yeah. After holiday, do it for next year. Yeah. For sure.
Prime Day is coming up too.
I
So Prime Day.
I think it's the 12th.
Oh,
Oh,
what's that
So
mean?
they do specials every day and things like that. So you can get stuff like I got a pre-prime thing and it was like $1 or something. And it was like, yay, give me the max that you're allowed to get. Okay, so anybody have any particular questions? Yes.
Okay, back to the in the area Popeye, because I've been wanting to do this also, and I find it, I don't know, I just want it to, I want to have a cute saying with it, like, not this, but like popcorn, like, hey, I popped by, or like something like says, like, I'm in the area, I'm here.
This one's my open house. It says thanks for popping by, but that's because now you can't do cookies really at an open house.
Oh, that's good.
So at our open house, I have the popcorn
It's
and then
microwave
snap.
popcorn.
Yep, and then snap, crackle, pop, and I got these cute little, they're my business card, my cute little things and tied it on. It's just things for, so I can give it. People love to get things, and these were cheap. I bought them on Etsy. You could maybe make them. I don't know. I can't make anything like that.
They have Popeye stuff on Etsy.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And they have
I look on it.
See, can you see it from there, Stephanie?
No.
Okay. Here.
And Stephanie, they have digital downloads on Etsy too.
Yeah. No, I've done all that. I didn't
You need to have your daughter cut out those little house shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
Don't buy a crooked house. Call me.
Very good. Very good.
Awesome.
Very good.
Yeah, and Pinterest is another great. I mean, like I do a lot of Pinterest, and then I'm a huge graffiti person. Brian Graffiti is a real estate coach, and he has just a bunch of different. He does Popeyes. He's kind of like the father of Popeyes, quite frankly.
Yep.
And they have in their store, they have all sorts of different ideas. So.
Do you guys all do, oh sorry.
Yeah.
Do you guys all do open house stamps? Because that's a good idea.
I used to always have cookies. That was my rule because it made people come. Food is always good, and so they'd stay longer. And I couldn't figure out how to break the ice. I'd say, "Oh, please have a cookie. I can't take all these home."
Yeah.
I'm going to gain 50 pounds or something like that. And then they would come, and then we'd start talking.
Yeah.
But now I feel like people are weird
Well,
now.
grabbing
So I do the pop by. I'm like, oh, at least. And my son, I'll never forget. But I used to work at Reese Nichols, and he was like, Mom, I had a great idea. He was my marketing guy. He's now 25. He was about 15 at the time. He said, put some Reese's in a bag and nickels. And I did, and I gave them out to all these people at the open house. I put like 2 nickels and some Reese's. And of course, everyone and my son came up with this, and oh my gosh, and then they're like, well, how's your son? He's like, oh, he's going to be this. And it was just that conversation starter. So if you could think of something clever like that, it's a conversation to start with. And most people like kids.
Yeah,
anyway.
don't worry about it. Corny works.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Corny works.
I know. I want something. I don't want it to be like a pop. I want it to be like in your ear. Hey, I was nearby. So like I'm checking it.
So one thing I did also, because I know time, I've been finding a shortage of time, and we did this with, I had an idea of doing it for my contractors. But instead of popping by, they all live far away. One's in Olathe, one's in wherever, far away. So, but I appreciate these. I have a few very, 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 very loyal contractors. There's 3 in particular that I'm not afraid to refer out, because they always come through on me, and then they've sent me business, and they don't ever not call my people back. So I sent them all, and I mailed it, because I was just like, you know what, I don't have time. So I put them in a bag, and I made it to them and their wife, and I wrote each of them a really nice note, just telling them, in this world, I can't always count on. I always know I can count on you. I was very specific on how much their loyalty meant to me and how much I respect them and appreciate them. And I just hope that they have a wonderful call. But I mailed it, and they all got it. They all sent me pictures. So the guys are. I'm like, oh, and you have the best wife ever. And of course, the wife loves me. So I mean, you want to include the wife, because if the wife hates you, you're out.
One I think
Quite
the
frankly.
important thing to remember is, in all of this, is that it's all about the relationships.
Yep.
And I mean, because that's, when everything was going on, and, with you and your insurance card, I had one person call me to check on both me and my boys during all of the things that were going on, and it was my inspector. And I guarantee you, now, while you can't recommend inspectors, he's top on my list, so, of the ones I give out. So it's just relationships.
And even my plumber is my guy. And I called him last week, and I said, hey, Justin, I need you to do this. How much, and he's like, Tiffany, I'm not charging you. It's a $2,000 job. I'm like, baloney. You're not. Yes, you are charging me. I'll stick money in your car. But I mean, that's how good of a relationship we have developed. And I think I've sold probably 15 houses that he specifically has given me that's just his family alone. And then he still wants to do free work for me. I'm like, are you crazy?
You guys might think outside the box a little bit. Just when I'm going to brainstorm with you for just real quick, popcorn. Because there's other elements, and you might stand out a little bit if you take advantage of those. The aroma, crack. It's
Crack?
You want some crack? Come see me.
That's what brainstorming is, you guys. You gotta throw it all out there and see what sticks, and obviously that one sticks. Throw those other elements out there. It's fall. Are you going to do it in the fall? So is there a way that you can tie, if it's family night? I don't know. I'm just saying that might even be a good thing for us to do sometime, is just everybody get together. Here's my idea. Let's brainstorm it, because you can probably, sometimes the craziest things are and then you're not. I'll give you a good example. Everybody and their uncle sends out Royals magnets and Chiefs magnets. Every single real estate in the whole wide world, it seems like. Well, do you really want to do what everybody else is doing? And if popcorn is all about popping by, and it's not necessarily popping by, maybe you tie it into, I don't know, a different color, a pop of color. We've got new, the leaves are coming. Will you have a pop of color? I don't know. So something like that. You might think of how else can you tie it in besides just driving by.
Pinterest is the if you can't sleep, let's just state that. If you can't sleep, get on Pinterest because and they have loads and loads of ideas about pop buys.
Oh, I got bored.
Yes, exactly. So remember to do that. And then you've got people in this room that already have boards that they've already spent hours and hours doing. Then just follow their boards, okay? And that will be very helpful.
Jenny, we're talking about Brian. I love Brian Buffini. I think he's also very good. He is the father of that. But he gave a statistic the other day. I was watching one of his webinars, and he said I think he said 30 pop buys is equivalent to spending $10,000 in marketing dollars. You will get the same results doing 30 pop buys if you spent $10,000.
He's got a real sexy voice too.
Well, that's the thing.
I just like him because he's right, and I listen to him.
Yeah, great podcast if you guys are looking for motivation, especially real estate motivation. And that's kind of piggybacking on that. We've been doing it a while, and that's the reason our lists are the size they are, especially some of you new guys. Start with 5 or 10, and you'll be amazed at when we look at our list, there's a handful of people that really have given us a ton of leads over the years. So focus on those people that you know are going to kind of be those people for you, and it'll eventually build.
The beauty of Keller Williams that I love about Keller Williams is that I'm just looking at these, and this is what made me think of this. So obviously Donna did both of these, but they're different. So if our pop by thing is something like this, candy and something, you guys all have your own personality, your own flavor, and no matter what, we can all come together, do a brainstorm, come up with, we're gonna do this, and it will look different for every single one of you. And that, I would encourage that really a lot, because good job, Donna.
Well, and you find connections too. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but that's what I would say. I mean, don't recreate the wheel. There's a whole bunch of us, and we can share vicariously. It doesn't need to be recreated, but planning wise, I'm an I, which I just learned that. But
So we know what to do. We're
I'm
gonna put a
not-
timer.
I have to put it down on paper, and I start planning it the year before, which is not my character, but
It won't get done if
it
you don't.
won't get done. And that way I've got it on my calendar and I know we're getting ready for a mailing. I'm gonna start a month out. It's so that I don't have to sit down and do all-nighters to try to make it all happen.
So let me ask this question. If we already know costs, we know how often they do it, we know where they're doing it and who, right? So at that point, what are some of the most successful pop buys that you've done? What has given you the most success?
Probably, I'm trying to think. We do a calendar every year. I'd say that really the combo, it's like a 1-2 punch with the pies in November and then the Kansas City calendars in December. One of the ones that opened the most doors, those of you that are starting to get to know me, I'm kind of an oddball. And Donna, stop laughing. But I'm like a huge horror and zombie freak. And so I did, there's a magnet, I think it's Magnet USA, that sells a CDC, and I'm doing that this year, so if anybody else wants to do it, they can, we can maybe get a discount. They have a CDC, like how to take care of, like making sure you wash your hands, I mean, perfect for this year, but it's like how to stop a zombie apocalypse. And so I did that and I posted on Facebook, hey, who wants one of these? Blew up. I mean, it was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea you were a zombie freak, and I'm like, oh yeah, vampires suck. Zombies rule. I mean, so things like that, and it's just totally my personality, and it's then connecting, because it's all about the connection and forming relationships with people that you never would imagine having a relationship
So
with.
you have no vampire clients.
I hate vampire clients.
Okay.
In fact, if I get an inkling, I'm like, you're fired.
You're a vampire.
What's been your most successful pop buy?
I really think everybody loves my candles I do for Christmas. I do that. This is not I just faked it. But there's one day Bath and Body does their Christmas candles where I think they break down to $8 a piece if you watch right in November time. And then the people that buy a house, this is my favorite. I bought these at Crate and Barrel. I bought cases of them. I think they're really, really cute. They're Christmas tree ornaments, and everything I do, again, this is my branding. If I did a zombie, people are like, Tiffany, that is so not you. But it's so her. But everything I do says love Tiffany. I sign everything. I don't put Tiffany Dow. I don't put business card. It says love Tiffany. Or I do a heart and a smiley face or something like that. But these on the bottom, I got a sparkle pen and I wrote Merry Christmas. I write their closing date if they bought a house this year. And then I put heart Tiffany. And that's it. So every year when they put up their tree, they're remembering, oh, remember we bought our house? God, I can't believe it was 2012? Oh my gosh, we've been here 8 years or whatever that is. And then the candles, I've had people go, oh, I'm so glad you brought me the next one because I just burnt out my other one. And they pulled it back out, which I use like 20 a year, so I don't know why they're only using one. But whatever. But I think people love it. They expect it. I mean, they kind of now expect it from me. So.
And I don't know if you see her bows, but she makes the most amazing bows
I was
as
gonna ask,
well.
do you? I do. I'm a bow weirdo.
You're an art form.
You've never seen her in the office.
No, I've
when she's
always
doing
seen
her-
her. I've never seen you make them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can do a bow class if anybody wants a bow class.
Ooh.
They're fun. I go to Costco. So I'm a Costco freak, and they have ribbon. Bolts of it for $7.99, and you have tons and tons and tons. Every time I go, I'm like, I'm gonna buy more. I buy lots of ribbon. I just think it makes things look pretty. I do big baskets all put together for closing gifts or something, and a bow just makes it pretty.
Yes, I'll take you on that bow. I'll buy you lunch.
Well, maybe on the 28th, she'll show us how to do a bow. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Because we'll have ribbon here, so you can show all of us how to do that. So as far as the things that are in there, what are some ideas about, and you guys have been sharing this all along, some things to throw into, when I say throw with love, into the pot buy bags or whatever you're going to be providing. Some ideas on that.
Are you talking about for the Halloween one coming up?
Well, if it's seasonal, that's
Well,
great.
one thing I just popped into my head because I think we were talking about do those tea?
Oh,
then
yeah.
say, text me a picture on Halloween of your,
Oh,
you know,
that's
and
cute.
then you're like you're re-engaging them. I think that might be a cute idea.
That was-
Send me, send me your family pics with your, you know, your vampire
That
family.
was our biggest, we sent
Yeah.
a few, and that was our biggest response. I think we had sunglasses or like funny glasses.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't remember what, and it was like tag us in Facebook, take a picture and put it on Facebook and tag us. We want to see you, and we got it was our biggest.
Yeah, good. I didn't even
That
think
might
to
be a
do
good
tag because I'm not a Facebooker much like that, but that's a great. We
That
could
might
do
be a great one for
vampires.
July, the sunglass one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just remember for 4th of July, don't do the little sparkles or firecrackers at the door because it gets hot.
Yeah.
They're not home yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
So think about that in chocolates. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what other things do you put into your Popeye bags?
I didn't come prepared.
Oh.
Well, and I think I said it earlier, we'll do an apple and like a whole thing of caramel. We've done soaps, candles. Our big thing is, and Tiffany does a good job at, we want it to be something that's useful. So if it's, soap, something that I'm pretty frugal too, I want it to be something that they can either consume or use. Little notebooks.
I think the dollar store has the little magnet ones that go on the list that
Yeah.
goes on those and a pin.
Gardening gloves.
Yeah.
We've done gardening
and
gloves.
seeds.
Yep.
Gardening seeds.
Forget-me-nots. Don't forget about me. That type of thing. So,
So Dollar Tree has those little wire whisks,
Mhm.
the little egg beaters, and so it puts the little Hershey's Kisses on the inside of the little egg beaters and tie them up and whisk them Merry Christmas or whatever. I
Oh,
know
how cute.
it's corny, but they use
works.
them,
Yeah.
and it comes in handy. You throw them in the drawer, and they always have them. I know, corny, whatever. So one of the other things that you want to think about is, like I said, if you have clients that like a certain thing, I have a client that Reese's Pieces. Anything you can get him with Reese's Pieces, he's your friend forever. And so when I see something, especially if it's a bulk thing, I will put something together and drop it off to him. And his wife is happy because he's happy because he has his Reese's Pieces, right? And so those are the kinds of things you want to know about your clients to keep them engaged. And it's not, like you said, something that is you're in their face all the time about buy from me. But it's still a subliminal that you're the person that they're wanting to go to, right? Love you pieces. I'm going to use that on the next one. Thank you. Absolutely. We made him a shirt for his birthday, and it says, "Give kisses for Reese's" or something, and then we tagged Reese's Pieces all over his shirt. Stacy's is a travel person, and with a lot of her clients, so maybe those little travel bags, the tags would be something that's great when you know it's the luggage tags. Thank you. The luggage tags are a great thing. Anybody here that is crafty like that? Wonderful. One of my clients just gave me a cricket. Okay.
Your client just gave you.
She gave me a
Look 'em
cricket.
up. Wow.
Yeah.
Those are those
No,
little-
the machine.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so it makes stuff.
Oh.
So
I know.
It makes stuff.
Like crack?
Yeah, crafts. Crafts.
that what everybody uses to make the
Well, kind of cutouts, and so she got,
Yeah.
she got me
Like
the
nail
foils.
vinyl.
Yes, she got me the cardstock.
That's a nice gift.
It is. It's wonderful. She wants me to show her my first project. So
It's interactive.
if anyone knows how to use this, then you.
What does she do
I
for a
will
living?
celebrate. She's retired now,
She's retired.
but she was a marketing person.
I was gonna say, she just did to you what we're
Yeah.
trying to do.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she's gonna send her a picture of her.
She wants me to do a video.
Oh, video. There you
So
go.
I'm supposed to show a video of where
That's funny.
whatever I've made, the first item that I've made. But the point of the matter
Bring it on the
is,
20th.
you can make some things. Do it on the 20th.
Bring
Oh,
it on
bring
the
it!
20th.
I'll bring it.
Yeah.
I'll bring it. I don't have to do it, but I'll bring it. And so the point of the matter is that it's something that you can utilize and be able to share with them. It does not have to be something that's going to last to the end of time. The candles, they use them and then they wait for Tiffany to bring them another one, right? So you want to give them something that they're going to remember and think about. So what other kinds of things can you think about with your own people that you know and love that may be a good idea for a pop by?
I have an idea. Remember, I'm the person that grows all this stuff. Well, I have 80 spaghetti squash in at home, and they last for 2.5 months. So I'm thinking, all right, what am I gonna do? My neighborhood is sort of, we're new. It's been about a year, but COVID, so I've got some fun recipes, and of course my business cards for you. But I need to come up with something cute with spaghetti squash, like squash.
Take the spaghetti squash, put a bow on it, put your cards and everything with a recipe. Have Tiffany show you how to do it and drop them off in a wagon.
So I was and give everybody in my neighborhood one, because the houses are,
Crafts day.
they're like 4 or 5. It's like, if I could get one of those.
Yeah. That'll be awesome.
I'm pretty sure that everyone in this room can give you an idea of what to do with that. That's great.
That's so
great.
you.
Yeah.
That's
She's
so
already
you.
known as the vegetable lady in the
She's the
neighborhood.
vegetable lady.
So
I wish I
that's
would have that when I had 500
Well, you do jelly.
I don't believe me.
Ooh,
We
I
had
have
a ton.
I've got a good idea.
Oh my God.
Yes.
If you're like me and like love your dog more than anything else in the world, like give little treats in like the bag as well for the puppies.
Ah, parents of fur babies. Yes. They love it. So you're not forgetting about them.
Yeah.
Ask them to send you a picture of their pet.
That's
right.
And they have like National Dog Days and things like that. That'll be a great time to do it around that time too.
When you're planning a year out, I don't like to do what everybody else is doing, so I go to the calendars, and there's some great calendars out there of every oddball holiday out there, and I choose those holidays and begin thinking in my head, how can I promote that, or how can I do that, or
You do those like day of. Or
No.
you just drive by and
you probably want to start you don't,
or are you mailing?
if you have 30 Popeyes, which is what we're talking about right here, I would, for me, there's no way you're gonna drop all those off in one day.
Yeah.
You gotta space it out. You got maybe 5 days before and 5 a day or something like that. That might even be.
And planning is, it kind of depends. Like when we tag team ours, we can get them done in about 2 days. But it literally is from, we plan on morning to evening. I'm driving, mom's running. But so it just kind of depends. But be very careful about your planning, because that's one of the things that drives me crazy and I'm completely anal about, is making sure that I'm hitting everybody in Blue Springs. And I'm not going from Blue Springs to Lee Summit back to Blue Springs to Green Valley. I mean, so
Here's a trick we've been doing recently.
And we're at our hour, so I want to make sure that we honor everybody's time. You are free to ask any questions that you guys want and stay as long as you want. I just want to make sure that we know that we.
can I touch on something really fast for Misty?
Absolutely.
So these are going to be some of the ones that we're going to do and have ready for the 28th. The 28th sponsors are going to be sponsoring the items, and we just need to come in and put them together. So
And we get to take them for our.
yes,
Yes.
yes, you just need to. You need to let us know how many you want to make, and we'll make sure we have enough for everybody. So let us know that. We're going to do this guy that says something sweet to sink your teeth into, not with the jar, but with the bag. You guys can see I can pass around. And then we're going to be doing the little hand. I don't know what that one says, but it's just like a happy Halloween. So,
What a cute idea. I'm going to create a Google sign up, and I'm going to ask you guys to commit, whether you're doing 5 of them or 10 of them or 25 of them. That I'm going to give it to Misty, so you go on to that and you commit, and you don't even have to give us both names. Give us the names of the people you're going to hand those out to, and if you will do all of those, just confirm that you actually did the drop off. Just confirm it, because it's so easy to get them and have them in your car, and then like you take a picture. Oh man, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh man, I'll do it tomorrow. But 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, so you'll have 4 days to hand those out. But give us the feedback as to, did you hand them all out, and what was your response? Because ultimately, that is what's driving this, is not that you want to get oh, I wrote a contract, but that you made a deeper connection with whoever you gave it to. So be conservative. When you come on the 20th, you need a list of everybody that you're going to drop those out to. And even an address on there, because we can sit down with you and help you map it out. But have that list, and whoever's on that list, that's who you make your thing for.
I think there's a limit of 25, but that's still plenty.
That's a lot.
You know, and kind of piggybacking on that, I think maybe we need to see about whoever does it. Maybe we can enter into a drawing. So I'll talk to the office about that. And then, yeah, I think the important thing to remember, and a lot of you new people are going to understand, and then some people who've been in the business for quite a while, this isn't about getting a deal this year. It would be great if it happens. Mom calls hers her crock pot, and we had, like this, during COVID, we had 17 buyers we were actively working with. 12 of them were people that she had been working on for years, that we've been doing Popeyes with. So it's about creating those long-term relationships.
Alrighty, ladies, and those in Cyberland, thank you so much for joining us. And if you have any questions, the panel, I'm sure, are available to answer any of your questions. And thank you so much for joining.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.